Evening, Ben.
Hello, how are you, Sue?
I am well. And yourself?
Oh, pretty good. I went for a very long walk with Tim this morning.
Really?
Or time-wise, not lengthwise. We ended up covering about 3 miles, I think. But we went to Jules's house and back again.
Nice.
It was fun.
Yeah, sounds like it.
Oh,
Hi,
I can't
Susan.
op Can you share that GDoc file with me, please, Sue, rather than send it to me as an attachment?
Will I share what's with you?
The GDoc file, the file that ends in .gdoc. Because I can't open it easily, but if you just share it on Google Drive with me, then I can get to it wherever you got it up on your Google Drive. Don't worry about it right now. You're in the middle of something.
I'm good. Yeah, I have all the documents queued up to show them as we work on them.
Good. That'll be
That would
perfect.
help.
That's great. That's fine.
And I just got a message from Mike Abateman. Oh,
Hello.
oh, he cannot come tonight.
Oh no. Got you in my ear, I hope. Yeah, there you are.
Ah, too bad. So, hmm. Well, I don't know that we have to vote anything in. How are you, Susan?
Hi, I'm fine. Hi. Hi.
And how is life in Colorado? What's it like?
It's glorious. It's the flowers are blooming and it's beautiful. It's amazing. It's summer.
Ah,
Wonderful.
Yeah,
that's nice.
we're lucky.
How high up are you at your house?
9,000 feet.
Oh my
Oh,
God.
Yeah.
Can you see the ocean from up there?
Not quite.
I'm kidding.
so if you're at 9,000 feet on a regular basis, when you come down to like Iowa, does it feel weird? Do you have trouble breathing or?
No, when I come down, I'm like I'm totally the fittest person in the room for about 10 minutes. And then
There's Jamie. Jamie regularly has difficulty with his camera, so he's have to flash in and out. It's not that he wants attention, really. It's just that that's what happens.
He's a flashy sort of guy.
There
Hi,
you go.
Sam.
Hi,
Hello, how's
Sam.
it
hi
going?
Sam.
Hello.
So Mark, Corey, Keegan. I've not heard from Keegan, so I'm assuming still that he's coming.
My
Uh,
upload was kind of interesting. It took a while to get in here.
oh, it did.
It did, but I'll say that my upload was interesting.
Do you think it might be your problem? Is that what you're saying?
I believe it could be.
Okay. All right. It is warm and humid here, although not too bad. But they're saying this weekend we might get to 100 degrees and have some real breeze and humidity. And, it's summer in Iowa. There you have it. It's one of those weekends when you wish you had a boat. So,
Greetings, real quick from down here. Julie's a little chirpy, so I'll stay muted.
yeah. So Susan, tell me, is there any where your coffee shop is? Do you experience a fluctuation in business related to seasons or weather or
Yeah, for sure.
holidays?
Right now Keystone closed. They're owned by Vail, and Vail is not doing a very good job for us. And they
Uh,
closed the mountain early, and they're opening tomorrow. But yeah, we have shoulder seasons where we don't get any business at all. We try to stay open because there are workers there and there are people around and stuff, but it's it's up and down. Right now it's down. Because
oh,
people also, it's very expensive in Keystone for people to holiday, and it's a family resort. And, that worked for a while, but now nobody has any money anymore. So I don't know. It's hard.
yeah, yeah.
But
so
we're
you
looking to
say
sell it maybe, so if you're interested.
well, I don't think my 401k will quite do that, but um, when you say it's going to open again, what will
Yeah.
it offer? It's a resort, so it's got like pools or lakes or hiking, or what does it do?
Well, in the summer, it's got a bike run down the ski mountain,
Ah,
and which they sometimes put up, and they haven't done much of a job this year. Their weddings on top of the mountain, that's at 12,000 feet. And there's a gondola that runs up and down.
okay.
So people go up and, I don't know, play around up at the top and drink beer and stuff.
Yeah, sounds like fun.
Yeah. But then there's a river there. I mean, the whole county is a resort area. So, but yeah.
Wonderful. Hi, Keegan. Good to see you.
Hello, everybody. It's good to
Yeah.
see all of you.
Yeah.
I am in another long meeting that is happening that is going way past its bounds right now, but I knew we were at quorum today, so I stepped out so I could hop on the call and do what you need my voice to be a part of. And then I will have to check back in with Sue and with Corey to make sure I catch up on everything that I missed
We can send
after.
you, thank you. We can send you a copy of the video too, so that you'll see what
Yeah,
happened.
Sure, but
I,
it may
I
speak to a need to
apologize.
address the business items first
Okay,
in order to have to meet the quorum.
okay. I think everybody that
Absolutely, Sam, which is why I wanted to make sure. Yeah.
Okay. Well, we're not quite there yet in terms of the quorum.
and I don't think we're going to get there from the looks of things.
Okay.
Because I heard
So,
from Micah and he's not coming. So
okay.
just now.
So then, and Michael was voted in as a board member?
We hadn't done that yet, but we were going to do that so that we could use him if we needed to.
Well,
No,
so
I don't.
then if he's not officially a board member, 3 may still allow us to have a quorum.
I think you're right.
There are
There were,
currently 5 board members that have been elected, correct?
right.
So
We need
3
half.
is a quorum.
Okay.
Yay. Okay.
So with that said, maybe we need to address the business parts of this on the front end,
Okay.
and then the strategy and planning parts of it with the balance of the meeting. So hate to jump right into business, but at the same time, this is the opportunity we have to do it. So appreciate your patience with us. That said, we need, I guess I should start by saying hello and welcome, everyone. Thanks for being here. And appreciate your time and your commitment to the work that's taking place here. But in the interest of time, we are going to try to move through some of the business pieces there, and then we'll have some time to address some of the strategy and planning stuff. Board meeting minutes from March. Is there a motion to approve them?
Motion.
Okay, is there a second? All right, there's a second. Motion's been made and seconded to approve the March meeting minutes. Any questions, comments, discussion? Hearing deafening silence, I'm going to offer this up for a vote. All in favor of approving the March meeting minutes indicate by stating aye.
Aye.
Aye. All opposed, same sign. I believe it was unanimous though. Okay, the March meeting minutes are approved. Let's see here. So we're going to move to the board meeting. Excuse me, to the potential board members. And we have, shall I say, 2.5 or a full 3? Sue?
We have 2. We have Micah Bateman
Yes.
and we have Nick Westergaard.
Yes.
And Uh,
Maybe.
maybe. And then Amy Johnson is a possible, but we haven't met with her yet, and she
Right.
has mentioned that she might be helpful but not be a board member. So she's not, that one's not decided yet. So we wouldn't vote on her tonight.
Yeah. Can you introduce, if you will, Nick and Micah a
Sure,
bit to the rest of the board?
sure. Micah Bateman is a professor in he's an English professor in the library science department at the university. He was recommended to us by Jean Dunham, who is a relative of Jamie's, Julia's. And Jean was for years a part of the library science program there. Micah, Ben and Corey and I met with Micah in Iowa City a few months ago now. And part of the reason why we thought Micah would be a good addition is that he's well versed and very much in touch with what's going on in Iowa City from an arts perspective. He is primarily a poet himself, so he kind of has his fingers in all those places where you might do something, especially if you're a poet. But whenever we mentioned certain happenings around the city, he seemed to be all over it. He could tell us lots about what was going on there. He is a young dad, so he has a 3-year-old and a 5-year-old, which he pointed out takes a bit of his time and therefore made it clear to us that he would not be able to be one of the members who comes to shows on any kind of regular basis, but that he was more than willing and interested in helping us get better connected in Iowa City. So that's Micah in a quick nutshell. Nick Westergaard is he runs Story Lab at the Henry Tippie Business School. He also, if you look up Nick Westergaard, and Guard has 2 A's in it, if you look him up online, you'll find that he has written about branding. He does a podcast on a regular basis. He is a keynote speaker. He's kind of a Renaissance guy in that way. He's also married to the mayor of Coralville. So that gives us some political stuff. And he regularly, 3 times a year, 4 times a year, does a show similar to ours at the Coralville Library. He does not do what we do in terms of making sure that stuff happens there. He brings a couple of storytellers, and the library advertises it. He tells a story if he has to, but he acts as the MC. I do believe it's a free evening, but I think the library keeps their concession open. Nick is involved because of his involvement at the university and with storytelling as a subject that he teaches. Um, he is very involved in the Iowa City conversation about the literary museum that they're talking about, and a number of other people who are involved in that. And that seemed to us, to me in particular, and I think to the guys as well, that that might be a great place for us to be able to be informed on an informal basis as to what's happening with that, because that might be a space where we might naturally do something in the future. But also, both of these guys are smart, energetic guys who had lots of things to offer. And whenever we were talking about, they were generating lots of ideas. And that's kind of what we need at this point.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for sharing that.
Yeah.
So, members of the board. Yes, Mark. Mark, were you going to say something? Okay. So, members of the board, let me ask. Questions, comments, compliments, concerns for Sue? I mean, or actually about either of these candidates?
Firmly in support.
Okay.
But I don't know Micah, but I do think Nick is a wonderful addition to the team. And just for
Wonderful.
background information, doing anything at the Corvallis Library requires it to be free. It's a rule that the city has. Just a heads up.
I think
Okay.
they sound great. Both of them sound great. I
All
can't
right.
wait to meet them.
Wonderful. And I'm in the same space too. So let me ask, can I make a motion that we approve these two as Nick Westergaard and Micah Bateman as board members for TellersBridge Storytellers.
Second.
Okay. Discussion? Hearing the deafening silence once again. All in favor of approving Nick Westergaard and Micah Bateman as board members of TellersBridge, please indicate by stating aye.
Aye.
Aye. All opposed, same symbol. Okay, that was unanimous. So thank you for your work in that. That's going to help bolster our ranks a bit and certainly bolster our resources and reach quite a bit here in East Central Iowa with this effort. I've got Sue, and board, I'm going to apologize, and certainly the Gang of Six, and apologize. Sue, when we met earlier, I forgot to ask if either of the new business items included an action, anything that required board action.
I think we've
So we've got-
covered what requires board action at this point.
Oh, okay, so nothing in the Borough Trust, the Floodwater Revival, or the Monday Underground.
No, those are things I'm just going to make you aware of.
Okay, so Keegan, we've covered the board action items at this point. I've got one other, but it's a request, and I'll make the request to you again as we get closer. One of the responsibilities for the board is to support the work that takes place with TellersBridge, and our upcoming festival in October is going to, frankly, it's going to cost some money, and it would be nice for each of the board members to make a contribution to support this event. And not putting a dollar amount on it there, but we certainly, as we go forward and acknowledge our supporters, our sponsors, and this kind of thing, we need to be able to say that we had 100% board support, or at least as close to that as we can. Okay.
Yeah.
So,
Absolutely. Well, that kind of echoes exactly what I was just going to say here. I told Sue up front when she asked me to join the board that my schedule gets crazy and I'll make a plan to be someplace and then get pulled into an event that I have to be somewhere else. So please know that I'm still trying to make it to the monthly shows. It's never an unintended thing. But I have committed and blocked the day off entirely for the festival so that I can be there present and participating.
wonderful.
Yes, I will absolutely make a financial contribution. Sue, just reach out to let me know where we're at, and then I'll do what I can. But I do really support the work that you guys are doing. I will watch the video, and then Sue, if there are things you need specifically, don't feel bad about reaching out, please.
All right.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank
Yeah.
you very much, Keegan.
Bye.
We appreciate your time.
Yeah, of course. Sorry that I can't stay longer. Bye-bye, everybody.
It is what it is. A moment in time, and we'll move on. Okay. Thank you. All right. So, again, appreciate y'all's patience with me as we kind of move on the fly here and try to address what's going on in the world.
Do you folks want me to share the agenda? Has everybody got the agenda that they can see, or do you want me to share it? Okay. Go ahead, Sam.
All
Sorry.
right. So the next item on the agenda is a discussion of finances.
Ah, well, I guess
And
I'll share that one.
Yeah.
Okay, let's see. Well, maybe I will. Yeah, I guess we will. This is a, oops, that's the wrong one. Sorry. No. Go. Hmm. Well,
That was the one that I have.
is that the, can you see that?
We
Yeah,
can.
this is the one I have.
Okay, well, good. Because it doesn't, I didn't have a share button anywhere, so, okay. We do something really well, which is so we managed to be a nonprofit. If you if you want to go to the bottom line, you'll see that we managed to lose money. But in any event, currently we've got $2,800 in the bank. We actually have a little more than that. We have about $200 from this month's shows, but and that's not in there. So add a couple hundred. So we're at 3 grand. The ticket sales for this period up until the end of June brought in $885. We had a $500 donation toward insurance, and then we had a $30 donation from one of our storytellers. So that income for the month was $1,400. Our expenses, though, because we spent $1,200, almost $1,300 on advertising, and that is primarily, well, that's Facebook and Iowa Public Radio. $481, that's the light set that we bought. And I think at this point we've probably got all of the equipment that we need. I don't foresee us having any more chunks of money needing to go out for equipment. We have lights, we have speakers, we have microphones. And really, Gary can't lug a whole lot more around, so we probably can't get much more. We spent the $450 on insurance. The estimate came in, the bill came in lower than the estimate. And then that $61 has to do with Canva, which is the software that we use to do most of our posters. And that's not a monthly thing, but that's something that was an expense that I think it's a quarterly expense. But there you have it. We had almost $2,300 worth of expenses, and we came out $862 in the red. Any questions?
Okay, so in terms of cash and cash flow, do we have to do anything about that now?
Are you asking me that question?
Yes.
Okay. I don't think so. The things that we typically do well, let me just say this. We typically spend $400-500 a month on advertising, and we do not bring in $400 or $500 a month, but we still have about 3 grand there. The whole idea with really the whole idea with the being a part of the Cedar Rapids Storytelling Festival is to raise our profile. And as you'll see, when you look at the agenda, those last three things that are there, Burr Oak and Floodwater, and
Mm-hmm.
those are
Monday
those
Underground.
are opportunities that came to us, and those are paying opportunities. So while the audience is still not what we want it to be, uh, we are being solicited from other places to do things. So I am hopeful that once we do the storytelling festival and all that comes with that, that will feed the audience for the shows. And then the next step for us next year is also to increase the number of workshops that we do in the public. But for right now, we're focusing on the festival and these extra opportunities.
Okay. And from where you're sitting, you project that we have or will acquire the resources necessary to be able to meet the monthly obligations before we run dry.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Uh, because we won't, we can always we can curtail the advertising. I mean, these are expenses that we can decide about.
Okay.
Don't necessarily, um, they aren't things we have to do. Now, have we stopped sharing?
Yes.
Okay. Because I still don't have a stop share. I don't have a share button, but I clicked on you all on your back. So
Okay.
you have it. All right.
All right. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Appreciate the update there. So, next item here is the board insurance update.
Basically, that is that we have board insurance. It was
Okay.
effective the 1st of April. And so you guys are covered for $1 million. If somebody comes after you because we left a stool out where it wasn't supposed to be, you've got coverage.
All right. or if Gary makes statements that incite a riot in the place of.
Which is entirely possible if you've ever spent any time with Gary alone. Yes.
Just want to make sure. All right, then. Thank you. And then venues and audience numbers is next on the agenda.
Mhm. When Sanctuary Pub closed, we switched to Rio Mexican Bar and Grill in North Liberty. And for reasons that are somewhat understandable but not entirely, in April and in May, our numbers were low. And when I mean low, I mean like 2 or 3 people showing up.
Mm,
So that's about as low as it gets. Now, the first month might have been due to poor advertising. We did not advertise on IPR that month. We pulled back the ads that month, and a couple of things that I thought had happened had not. So the advertising did not fulfill what it should have. But yes,
Just a
Gina?
clarification, we had 8 storytellers and 2 audience members,
mm,
not that there were 2 people total.
Oh, yeah.
okay.
We often make up half the audience. The storytellers often make up half the audience, but it's not always just us. However, in May, something very similar happened, and we spent money on advertising, and there was lots of Facebook ads, and we couldn't quite understand it. Now, in June, we had 21 night and 19 the next. That was the crowd. So we're back at about where, our best crowd ever, I think, was 43.
Mm-hmm.
But I think we're we're normal if we're at 20 in the room, and that includes us. So it's never like going to be $200 worth of income for that because we don't all pay the Gang of Six, with a couple of exceptions, don't pay to be there.
Mm-hmm.
And we don't charge storytellers if they come to workshops ahead of time. So that's kind of how we do that. So that's where we're at. So now in July, we will have a show we call Reunion. And we did this last July and we had an excellent turnout. We invite back everybody who's told a story in the last year. We invite them to wear their t-shirts. We invite them to tell their story again or tell a different story. We try to make a big deal out of it. I do believe last year we actually cut the cover in half and charged them $5, but it got us a big turnout. It was fun. So we're going to do Reunion again. We haven't talked yet really about the cover charge. I don't know that it makes a whole lot of difference, but it doesn't. I think mostly it's just the idea that everybody, you just say, y'all come and tell a story again and wear your t-shirt and hang out with us. So we'll do that again in July. Um, yeah.
And bring all your friends and your
And bring all your
relatives and
friends.
your
Yes. Make your relatives come and watch you.
people on the bus and anybody you meet.
I'm going to put that in the ad, Susan. Anybody hanging out on the street, just bring them along. Yeah. They'll have fun.
Okay.
Yeah. The storytellers continue to get better and the shows continue to improve. That's not a problem at all. Ben, you got something you want to add?
Well, I was just going to add that to that effect of bringing anybody. Last night, my friend Tim Sandy, who I coerced into coming, recruited a storyteller sitting at the bar watching the Fever game, and the guy came, Ashton. I can't remember his last name. Came and
Future,
told a
wasn't
story.
it?
Kuchar, yeah, Ashton. No, I don't remember his last name, but Ashton something. But he came and told a story. So and he did it entirely by word of mouth, which was a great way to do it.
Uh-huh.
Okay.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
All right.
And I keep wearing the TellersBridge t-shirt to therapy 3 times a week. The people there don't think I have anything else to wear. I finally told them that I'm not in charge of laundry and I get offered whatever's on the top. So I end up wearing the same things over and over again. But yeah, so we've had a lot of storytelling conversations.
Okay.
Mark?
Can you hear me?
Mhm.
Yes.
Good. I'm just taking notes. We made a move to Ray North Liberty, April, May, low attendance. However, in May, we had the same thing. June, 19 and 21 each show, et cetera, et cetera. Is there something else you want to say about venue?
Yes, there is.
Okay,
Sanctuary
I
Club
will.
has reopened, and we have reached out to her, but we haven't made a commitment. Corey, I believe, is going to go visit there, and I understand that he shared that they're having a grand opening party for Sanctuary Pub. So we'll look at that. Um, there's a lot of pros and cons. We don't want to run off from Rio after they took us in when we needed a place to go. That's one thing. But the second thing is that we have a strong core of regular audience members who will come to Sanctuary who won't necessarily come to North Liberty. They will come occasionally, but they can walk to Sanctuary. They live right close by, so they come regularly. Um, yeah. So we've talked about it several times. We keep waltzing up to it. I did reach out to Yara, who is the new owner of Sanctuary Pub, just to ask her if our Tuesday night was available. I have not heard back from her yet. Just curious to see whether or not that might be something that we decide to do. If we'd had really low numbers at Rayo again this month, I probably would be advocating for us to move back, but we pulled it out, so you just don't know. We'll just have to.
We do have some members who can walk to Sanctuary, but more important, they can stumble home from Sanctuary.
And not be in any trouble with the police, Sam.
Something to be said for that.
Yes.
There is. Parking is
I
easier at Rayo, so
Yeah, it
for
is.
those who have to drive.
And the food's better, at least it has been so far. We haven't tried the new owner yet, so we shouldn't.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My kids like the Sanctuary much better because
And
it's
his kids
closer.
come regularly.
I feel like North Liberty has a lot of people in it now, though, isn't it? Isn't it really booming with a lot of people who are,
Oh, yeah.
yeah.
I think it's about 3 times as big as it was when I moved here. I think there's got to be, well, they've got a high school, they've got 2 or 3, 4 elementary schools. Yeah, they have lots of people. And again, if we can get the awareness up, but yeah. The guys are not interested in doing 3 shows a month.
lots of nods on yeah, and other expressive.
So, two is it.
Some of us are retired and some of us aren't.
Mm-hmm. Okay. All right. So we're going to continue with the North Liberty site with an eye to looking at numbers while finding out where it is we stand with reconnecting at Sanctuary in Iowa City.
Mhm.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
The
All
other, the
right.
other, the other piece of it is that Sanctuary has changed hands 3 times in the time that we've been doing business with them. So we don't know that this one's going to be any different. We hope it is,
Right.
but it's the other
All
thing.
right. So yeah,
Mark?
So what I have is action item team to investigate and keep board informed regarding numbers and any changes of venue.
okay. All
And,
right.
and
So I'm
this
sorry.
also involves Corey investigating the new space, and perhaps Ben will join him to see how it would fit what we do compared to what they have now.
And
I
checking
had that
on
in
the
my notes.
food.
I will actually highlight it as an action item as well.
Okay.
Great. Thank you. So then one of the big items, maybe even the biggest item on the agenda for tonight is the Storytelling Festival update. Sue, can you walk us into that?
Sure. Just 1 second here. I don't want to share that anymore. Excuse me just a minute. And then, okay. This is I think I'm pretty sure I sent this to you all. It's the charter, and this is something that Mark um, created with the help of AI, and it's been really helpful. AI has been very helpful in sort of setting up different aspects of the storytelling festival and making it giving you a document to then edit, which is saves tons and tons of time. But the idea here is that the charter, and Mark, please chime in if I'm missing something here, but the charter really does lay out what the plan is, why you're doing it, how you're doing it, what you're expecting to get out of it, and some basic sort of baseline things. So, for example, if you go down to objectives, the objective is to do a 4-day storytelling festival and have at least 12 community partners. Now, right now, I've reached out to, I believe, 20. And if I could just give you another overview, we were going to do this similar to what they do in St. Louis, which is that they enlist institutions to provide an event that's a part of the festival. So rather than the festival organizers organizing every little bit of it, you turn to these institutions and say, we're going to do this thing. What would you like to do to be a part of it? So we already know that the Cedar Rapids Opera is going to do a 1 hour program on The Little Mermaid at the library on the Saturday morning, which is the last day of the festival. We know that Bruce Moore is going to do something. We don't know what yet. I'm going to meet with her on the 27th. We know that the Cedar Rapids Museum of Art is going to do something, possibly around the subject of work, because they have an exhibit that's similar to that. We know that the African American Museum is interested in doing something. So what's happened already is that I've sent out 2 letters. The first one being an invitation to lots of institutions, and then the second one, a follow-up letter saying I sent you a letter and I'm going to be in touch with you. We hope you'll be a part of this particular thing. And so that second round of calls has already started. I've only gotten one refusal so far, and that was from the Nouveau City Market, who said that they just didn't have time. So this document helps us all understand what we're going to do. And then from here, we go on and create documents for the other pieces, the fundraising piece, the public relations piece, the volunteer piece, the storytelling piece. And then we need to decide who will be the primary leader of whatever piece we're talking about. And those pieces I plan to have in place by the 1st of July so that those documents will be created and we will be talking about who's going to do what. And then we may have to reach outside of our gang of 6 to enlist some additional help. But that's where we're headed. And this list here will give you an idea of who we've already reached out to. And I haven't gotten any indication that there won't be response from some of them, but I do think some of them need to be chased a little more than others. Questions about this?
Who have you assigned to chase rich heritage?
I'm going to assign you to do that, Sam, because I know you have a connection. I have reached out to Matt twice now and haven't gotten a response from him. But I
Okay.
also know that Matt has a play starting that weekend at CSPS, which is part of because CSPS said, yeah, we're really busy. If you
Mm-hmm.
give us something during the week, during the day, that would probably work because the weekend we're setting up for a new play. So
Sure.
if you want to reach out to him, maybe, I mean, even a storyteller on a corner would be fine.
Okay. All right. So in terms of having these groups operational or at least formed by July, which is according to my daughter, my middle daughter, who turned 37 today, it's the 18th of June.
Mm-hmm. So 12
Okay.
days.
So we're within 12 days of July.
Mm-hmm.
So we're gonna need to hit the ground running or at least walking at a fairly decent pace in order to be up and ready to go. I assume mid-September at the latest
Mid-September to go for what?
for to have the bulk of the work done
Oh, yeah.
for this October event.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yes.
And so this isn't, I mean, boards by definition are strategic. So this is an opportunity for board members to make a rock solid contribution to the work of TellersBridge. We may need you all to tell us a bit about what it is you want us to do,
Mhm.
but we should be able to contribute in this
Well,
regard.
excuse me. I'm hopeful that when we do our October meeting, that perhaps we could, that would be, I'm thinking of you, Susan, in particular, that would be the time when you come to visit. If you can do that, since last year we did that in October, I thought, well, maybe that would work. And then we could all be together because we are also planning an after party for that, which we could count as a board meeting unless once we have a heavy agenda. But so it would be a great time to have everybody on the board as well as all of the storytellers. We've got a pretty decent stable of storytellers beyond the gang of six at this point. So yeah, we'd like everybody to kind of we're all about building a community, so it'd be great if we could get everybody together, if that works. If it doesn't
Okay.
work, it doesn't work, but that was the thought.
I will do my best.
Thank you. That'd be great.
We appreciate your commitment despite the distance.
Yes.
We know you're in Shangri-La, but your heart's still here.
Yeah, it is though. It really truly is. I love going back to Cedar Rapids. I really do. And October sounds like a great time to do it. So, but I have no idea what the future brings, so we'll see.
Sure. Okay. So thank you, Sue, for that update.
Mhm.
Now that included, we talked about participating institutions, creating a volunteer base. Have we discussed the role of Toastmasters?
I don't think we have, and the role of Toastmasters isn't quite defined yet. Um, but what I've done is I've sent a letter to the district director, and we've exchanged a couple of emails, and she's agreed to publicize within the Toastmaster community the opportunity that the Storytelling Festival provides for them. Toastmasters need to do what they call a high performance leadership project if they want to finish to get the distinguished Toastmaster medal. And there are several portions of this project that could be used as a high performance leadership project. So I've asked her if we could be in touch with them. The first thing that she did was to forward the information that I sent her to the PR director and tell him to put it everywhere, which
Okay.
is helpful. And then I think the next step with that is probably to send some ambassadors to some of the clubs and point out that we have these things, especially once we get them well defined, so that people can see what it is that we're talking about. Not do the work for them, but say this is the project, this is what it would take.
Mm-hmm.
We might be an easier sell.
Okay. Thank you.
And I've
Thank
just
you.
put up
Thank
here
you.
the story. This is the Storytelling Festival logo.
Mhm.
The book for the library. This is Teller's Bridge. This is Teller's Bridge Bridge. And of course, the tree for the City of Five Seasons. So,
Crafty.
yeah, I think it's kind of cool.
Yeah. Well, all right. Good deal. So I'm getting used to saying this, and I probably need to get unused to it. Sue, can you tell us, can you update us on the status of things with the Cedar Rapids Economic Alliance?
Yes, I'm having a meeting with her. I think it's in 2 weeks. and she apologized. Her name is Ann Lauken, and she apologized profusely for forgetting about us. She is the woman who said that she could find a large institution that could sponsor us.
Mm-hmm.
Had a change in leadership, evidently, at the Economic Alliance. I don't follow Cedar Rapids politics much, so I wasn't aware, but she's had a boss change, and I suspect some turmoil related to that. So we're going to have coffee, and what I'm hoping I can do, if I can't get her to find an angel for us, I'm hoping I can leverage her guilt into letting us use their email list and that sort of thing to promote the Cedar Rapids Storytelling Festival. Get
Okay.
that may be the least I can get out of it, but I'm hoping that she'll feel badly enough that she'll help me get that happen because they have a huge email list and they also
Mm-hmm.
have an event site. So normally you have to be a member to use the event site. So I'm not sure, but we'll see. It's worth a try.
Okay.
And I don't know that the library isn't a member of the Economic Alliance. I just don't know.
Oh, there you go. Jamie?
Um, can we discuss funding for the festival and the underlying fundraising that will have to happen?
Believe we can. Believe we can. So I'm going to step into this a little bit, and I'll also let you know, I don't know about it as much about this as I probably ought to, but Sue and I visited earlier today, and she gave me, I'm going to call it a ballpark estimate at this point of what it would take to pull off the event. And the number I believe we discussed was approximately 22,000, if I'm not mistaken. And
20,
beg your pardon?
20.
20.
I'm happy with 20.
Okay. All right. So 20,000 ballpark, and some of that's related to the cost and expenses associated with some of the bigger names that we're bringing in, but also with promotion, advertising, and then just resourcing the event itself, even though the venue is the cost associated with that is nothing. There's still a bunch of other costs there, which the committees are probably going to burrow in and dig in and find out a bit more as they're formed and they begin their work. But in terms of the fundraising, I believe that we're going to be making some appeals and some approaches for some sponsorship. And again, that was part of the reason for uh, my comments earlier to the board members to make sure that we are supporting this venture. But what else? Did you have any specific thoughts in mind as far as fundraising goes, Jamie?
There's a number of businesses in the Cedar Rapids, Iowa City, or the Lynn County, Cedar Rapids area that traditionally support. So, Rockwell, a couple of the banks,
CRBT.
that, Quaker Oats. So I just, do we have a plan on, who's going to approach what and if before we approach, we kind of need to have a unified statement or a pitch. What is the elevator pitch, and then what details do they have to know, and is this just a benefit to the community, or is there something that the business actually can render from this?
Excellent points. One of the persons that Sue's approached about serving on the board is Amy Johnson, who is very famous in this area here, former newscaster and certainly philanthropically minded and involved in a number of things there. And while Amy has told Sue that she may not be able to serve on the board, she does believe at this point she could assist the organization with connections, introductions, and helping. And if I'm not, tell me if I'm mistaken, this Sue, but helping us with identifying people to approach for funding.
that's the plan is to talk to her about that. I'm well aware that she does that. I mean, she does it. She gets hired to do it. As so she did it at Methwick for a while. She helped with the campaign that they were doing. She works now for the Community Health Free Clinic, and I believe that's part of her job there. But mostly for us is that Amy knows lots of people in town and could help us identify people if we need to be thinking about individuals. But she also could also help us to which institutions. We know some that are likely to give or that traditionally give. But yes, and Jamie's right. We do need to, I mean, part of what we use the charter for is to use that as a starting point for putting together talking points, elevator speeches, probably some sort of information sheet. And we need to work with the library to do that as well. But that would be something that needs to happen early in July. Those things need to get together so that we can be out there in July and August talking to these institutions, especially.
So when the phone rings, please pick up and listen to the conversation. You know, and I know we said $20,000, and I guess the way I'm looking at that is that it's it's 19 or excuse me, what 39 other people giving $500, and that would get us there.
10 businesses giving $2,000.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And we are connected. We have connections to some of these businesses. So I do think that Gary has already volunteered to go to Shive Hattery and ask them for 10 grand. And he thinks they'll give it to us.
We're
Thank you,
also a
Gary.
nonprofit, right? So
We are a
all
nonprofit.
taxed, that's the whole point, isn't it?
Yes,
It is.
Yes.
whole point.
I mean, you could have businesses give coupons that kids sell, like they do for football teams and stuff. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Do you know what I'm talking about?
The discount tickets.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
I'm not there to organize any of this, so. Sorry.
We're just hoping they'll just write us a check, Susan. That may not be realistic, but we're just hoping they'll make it simple and say, here, we'll give you this. Because they're giving money anyway. I mean, most of these big ones are giving a certain amount of money anyway.
So then you would make it 38 people who give $500. But yeah, you're muted.
Well, yeah.
Yeah. So there we go. All right. So like we've got some work ahead of us here, and it's going to take place in the very near future. So I guess that's the one of the primary points there.
Yes, absolutely.
Yes.
That's the piece that has to lift off next.
Mm-hmm. And we've got some new business here with 3 names here beside it. And Sue, can you fill us in on that? And Jamie, you were going to say something.
Are we making plans to have a storytelling festival T-shirt for a lot of these businesses like to have their logo stuck on the back?
Oh, I think that's a great idea.
That was your idea that you told to me. You just forgot. Drugs.
Why it sounds so good to me. I think there's no reason not to do that. We have the logo. It's fall colors. Yeah. And then we can offer that to, it'll be like the Alzheimer's t-shirts that have a bazillion different logos on the back. All right. Or maybe we could sell one without all those logos. No, never mind. Anyway,
I'm going to put that as gang of 6 to discuss. Action item.
gang of 6 what?
To discuss.
To discuss.
Oh, sure. Thank you.
And provide recommendation.
Good idea. With regard to the new business, the first one was Burr Oak Land Trust, and we were approached by them to they do a fundraising event every summer. They normally do music, and what they were thinking they would like to do would be to have us tell some stories and have music. However, I don't know what has happened, but Meredith did reach me last week, at the end of last week, and tell me that she, for whatever reason, is not going to be able to pull that event together in time for July, which was July 26th so that one has been canceled. But she did leave the door open, saying that she would still like to do something with us, but she just can't do it right now.
Okay.
The next one was Floodwater Festival. Corey, are you there? Do you want to talk about that just a little bit? You have an update? Maybe not. Let me tell you then. What I know about it is that the Floodwater Festival is in Iowa City, and that one of the organizers approached Corey about the possibility of us doing an hour's worth of humor stories while they're having brunch on the last day of their festival. And I believe that that is in September. And the details haven't been nailed down yet, but that again is a thing that just came to us. It was not something that we solicited. The third thing is Monday Underground. We had a meeting with CSPS and they would like to try a 3-month, do a 3-month trial. Every Monday night, there would be a different event. One would be storytelling, another would be comedy, another one would be improv, and I think the fourth one might be another form of storytelling. I'm not quite sure about that. So we would once a month do a show at CSPS as a part of this. And we would get paid for that. And this was something that was the brainchild of Tim Boyle. The idea was that not service providers, but people in the entertainment industry often have no place to go because they get Mondays off and then there's nothing going on. And they've been talking about it for a while at CSPS about whether or not they might do that. So the idea was that we would do a 3-month trial, September, October, November. We would have one Monday night and we would do a show and we'd get a percentage of the door. I'm trying to remember what it was. 60, I think it might be 60% of the door. I can't remember for sure. He was very open to negotiating that with us. This is Jason, who is the executive director at CSPS. And it's quiet at the moment, but Tim Boyle, who is one of the regular storytellers, it was his brainchild, and I think it may be waiting on him for next steps. For me, the interesting thing was that I got introduced to something called radical community storytelling, which is that you find one person. So say, for example, I would approach you, Sam Black, and I'd say, Sam, can you get 5 of your police buddies to tell stories one night in this thing? And so you would go out and find 5, if you were interested, you go out and find 5 police, and we would work together, do a couple of workshops to curate the stories, and then you do a show. And this actually was something that started in Tucson. And Tom Moore, Jamie's friend, brought me a book back from Tucson and showed me this book by this woman who's been doing this for a while. Jim Boyle already says he has 5 DJs who want to tell stories on a Monday night. So these stories would be a particular group telling stories about what they do or something that they've done, whether it's a professional thing or a hobby thing or an event thing. We don't really care. And we are not responsible for editing. We just simply help them put their stories together so that they can present them well. And it's another way for us to build our influence and also bring in parts of the community that might not naturally gravitate toward us. But once we get them in and get them on stage, maybe we can hang on to them or some of them. So those are the 3 things that were out there. We're down to 2, but they've been coming on their own, which is exciting to me. Mark, need me to clarify?
You call that radical storytelling? Is that what it was?
Radical community storytelling.
Community storytelling. Thank you.
and she
I will
she said
start
that
typing.
she said that the worst group she ever had were the alcoholics. She said it was like an AA meeting, and she said people were just like glazing over watching it. She said that was the worst one. But she said a group of psychologists tell stories. I mean, just you name it.
Were they
Uh,
recovered alcoholics or they were?
I think they were recovering alcoholics,
Oh,
but
well,
they were at like an AA meeting, and so they just uh and we know
Thank
from
God we're not. Thank God we're not recovering.
um, so we know from listening to Sam's last story, not maybe not his last story, but the last story I heard Sam tell was one of about his police exploits, and yes, it was a great story. It was like I'm sure that the policemen have stories to tell that would be entertaining and probably educational.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
everybody has a story to tell.
that's true.
That's the thing. And if you can get them in there and you can coach them and make it so it's not dreadful, then yeah.
Hmm. Yeah. And sometimes it's really amazing what you uncover when you invite them to come and things that you had no idea of. It's just great.
We need to get defense attorneys and prosecutors and pair them up for a braided story.
A
That
braided story.
would be incredible.
A
And I
braided.
think I could line it up.
Ooh, do it, Sam. Let's do it. We can always do a special event, even if we don't do even if the Monday night thing doesn't work. I mean, we could. I think that this whole concept is really fascinating, and it also begins to take the pressure off the core group because our core group has been telling stories now once a month for 11 months out of the year for 3 years, 4 years.
Mhm.
Too long.
They say that, and they also tell me that they don't have nothing for the theme, and then they deliver better every time. So I don't know quite what to make about that. Anyway, uh, yeah. So it's a way to broaden the base and bring in. I really would love to bring in some folks that were not necessarily inclined to come through the door, and bring them in to get them to tell stories. That'd be great. All right.
All right.
Can I ask a question? Has the Gazette done anything about telling anybody about you guys or us or no?
I am really hopeful that the storytelling festival and the marriage to the
Yeah.
public library will get them. Iowa Public Radio, even though we advertise on there, we haven't been able to get them to cover us. One thing that we did learn was that CSPS, the guy at CSPS, the executive director there, Jason, said that he can get on the Iowa Live, which is a morning show that they do, I believe, on Channel 9, that he can get on there anytime. All he has to do is call them. So once we get our stuff together and we're ready with the message, that's a place that we might want to try to get on some kind of rotating or frequent basis until the Storytelling Festival happens anyway. So, yeah. Might be able to get the institutions that are doing something to go on and talk about what they're doing. All right.
So lots of things happening, and the snowball is rolling down the hill. Just going to be more things taking place. Beg your pardon?
It always is.
Yeah. So appreciate your time, certainly your commitment and dedication. The next scheduled meeting, if there's no other business, is set for Wednesday, August 27th, the fourth Wednesday instead of the third Wednesday. That was done in an effort to see if we can have the illustrious Rick Zedler grace us because he has a standing conflict right now with third Wednesday. So, but again, thank you for your time, your effort, and your work, and your passion.
7 p.m. Central.
Yes. Excellent observation.
I'm trying to do the notes here.
Okay.
Thank you, Mark.
Sue, I can either review them with you after this meeting or I can send them to you and you can review offline.
Whichever works for you. Fine.
I have looking at
Well,
my
Sue-
busy calendar. I'm available up until Saturday.
All right, so why don't we stay on after we're done, and we'll just go over them quick and then we'll read. That'll be it.
All right. Susan, I would like to make a motion that we adjourn this meeting.
Oh, I'll second that.
Okay. And should we have any discussion on the matter at all?
No.
Oh, well, then let's just vote. Aye.
Hi.
All right. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you. Good night now.
Good night.
Good night, guys. See you later.
Bye.
It's fun to be with
Bye,
you.
Doc.
Bye. Thanks,
Thanks a lot.
Sam. Thanks, Susan.
Thanks,
Thanks, you
everybody.
guys.
Thank you. Take care.
Bye.